Thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here. I can't think of a place I would rather be more than right here. I'm a product of county government. I see a lot of familiar faces, and all of you I know are fully dedicated to building Kentucky and strengthening Kentucky county by county. And that's a great thing. There is certainly, in my estimation, fewer higher callings than to take care of an entire Kentucky county. And I did it as county attorney for 22 years, 4 years as an assistant county attorney, 3 years as an assistant Commonwealth's attorney. So county government really is in my bones. My dad was county attorney for 28 years. And I think you know after 28 years, if you're not getting it, you're never going to get it. But he managed to do it, and he taught his son very well. And I'm glad to be around other people who care as much about Kentucky counties as all of you do. I think it's important to point out that we have not had a county official that was elected to statewide office since Paul Patton was elected lieutenant governor 32 years ago in 1991. And I think it would be a great thing to have more county leaders serving in Frankfort and bringing that local experience that makes the difference between success and failure when it comes to running a county and when it comes to serving as a senator or as a representative. So thank you for the job you do, and I hope I'll see many of you in Frankfort serving in those capacities one day. I want to tell you what we're doing to stand up for Kentucky counties. We take our job very seriously, obviously, and what we're going to be doing in 2025 is, just want to give you a glimpse of that. First of all, we ensure fiscal responsibility. It's the heart of my role as state treasurer. We prosecute the public interest from the Treasury every day. We make certain that every dollar is statutorily and constitutionally spent, and we are committed to sound governance and common sense economic policies that address what we're dealing with today, and that's high inflation and stagnant wages. We do this in part by supporting the General Assembly's reduction in state income taxes. And this approach is paying dividends for Kentucky families, and it may be an approach that you may not be fully familiar with. We all know that income taxes have gone down, but what we don't always identify is this. In 2023, every Kentucky taxpayer owed $20,000 against state debts. That's a debt they didn't know anything about. And a husband and wife, both of whom were working, that's $40,000. Today, in 2024, each Kentucky taxpayer owes only $13,000 per taxpayer. And how did that happen? How did it go down so quickly? It went down because we are paying down our debts in Kentucky rather than creating new debts. We're doing what the counties do. We're paying down our debts, and we're doing it methodically and with a disciplined approach to fiscal management. And the Treasury fully supports this approach. Now, our other efforts to assist Kentucky families involve returning as much money as we can from the Unclaimed Property Fund. And that fund is today at $840 million. And what is unclaimed property? I hear people using the term often enough that I think I should define it for you. Well, it includes cash left in an old bank account. It's a forgotten apartment deposit. It's lost insurance policies with both cash values and death benefits. And it's even the contents of a safe deposit box. When these assets are turned over to the Treasury, we do our level best to get that money back to Kentuckians. At a time when every penny counts, the Treasury has returned to Kentucky families just this year nearly $30 million from our unclaimed property funds. That's a record sum, and it's one that we will continue to build on, because we understand, as do you as county officials, that each unclaimed property award may be a lifeline to a struggling family. And I know you all get that. You're as close to the earth in terms of politics as anyone can be. And it's one of the reasons I believe you have so much more to offer at a state level one day. Now, besides the unclaimed property dimension of this job, we're returning other taxpayer money that you might not be familiar with. And this is a program we started just this year, beginning in January. I'm talking about checks that came back to the Treasury or back to the Revenue Cabinet because of a misspelled name or a wrong address. To fix this problem, we're personally reaching out to every person in business we can locate. We recovered $14,000 to a young mother located here in Kentucky. That money came back to her at a time when she obviously needed it. And when we called her from the Treasury, we don't do business by phone, but we wanted to confirm her address. She hung up on us. She thought it was a scam. We delivered a return check for $32,000 in property taxes to the Warren Fiscal Court. To the Bracken County Fiscal Court, we returned $16,000 involving payments on a transportation project. And in Letcher County, we sent a $13,000 payment to the school board for property taxes they never received. Altogether, we've returned $2.5 million in these types of payments, and this money is now back in local communities. It's back paying bills, it's educating kids, and it's supporting Kentucky families. At the Treasury, being fiscally responsible also means that we wisely invest every taxpayer dollar. Your state treasurer chairs the State Investments Commission. This year, the Kentucky State Investments Commission returned $682 million to the Commonwealth. Every dollar that we earn from investing Kentucky's money is one less dollar we have to raise from taxes. And those taxes fall heaviest on Kentucky families and on Kentucky businesses that are already burdened by the high cost of gas and groceries. Another key area of focus for us is the opioid crisis. And I want to hit this pretty hard. I want to thank KACo also, because they are doing the heavy lifting, making sure that counties get their fair share of the settlement dollars. But from the Kentucky Attorney General's Opioid Advisory Commission, which I sit on, we're making certain that those monies are augmented by grants. Now, I'm a guy who carried one of his best friends to his grave. My brother carried his brother to his grave. There is not a family in Kentucky untouched by the opioid crisis. It's a leading cause of death among young people in Kentucky and in the United States. And the only way we get rid of it is by standing strong against the trend of crime moving across the borders and reaching all the way into our classrooms. I'm not asking all of you to stand tough on these issues. Support your sheriffs, your police, support your county attorney and your Commonwealth's attorney. That is the only way. That is the only way. And I think many of you here are grandparents, but that's the only way we're going to be able to defeat this terrible scourge. Now, I want to point out that starting December the 2nd, and I want to see from you and from your offices, from your county attorneys, your Commonwealth's attorneys, I want to see grant applications, because what we do at the Opioid Advisory Commission is we make grants to the counties and to the cities. We make grants so that you can augment and amplify your efforts to defeat the drug crisis. Remember, December the 2nd, that's when you'll be able to file applications, and it's going to take longer than a day. But I hope to see a lot of applications coming from the counties, because you, more than any other body in the state, are able to deal with this problem on a global basis. You know what's going on in your communities. You know what's happening in the furthest reaches of your counties. And so I'm looking forward to applications coming from our counties. Now, I also want to point out that while we are dealing with an opioid crisis that seemingly has no end, it has an end with you. And being able to communicate this to you, I hope reveals to you that you have an ally. My experience with prosecuting, among other things. And in Washington, I served as a domestic security prosecutor at the criminal division. And there we were dealing with alien smuggling and aliens muling on their backs drugs across the border. So I need your assistance. I need your help. Kentucky needs your help, and your counties need your help. As state treasurer, I also serve as the chair of the Financial Empowerment Commission. I'm committed, my whole office is committed, to expanding programs that make financial literacy accessible to every Kentuckian. We're implementing financial literacy programs in every high school across the Commonwealth. In some high schools, we have already been able to put in credit unions and branch banks. And all of you have contacts with your main banks and your credit unions. Talk to them about the potential of bringing a bank within the walls of a schoolhouse. And what's the nice part about this is the kids are running these credit unions. Here in Louisville at Southern High School, the largest high school in the state by physical dimension, has a credit union being run by students. But we're not stopping there. We're partnering with organizations across the Commonwealth to bring literacy programs to community centers, public libraries, and yes, even in county jails. We are going into county jails, trying to make certain that the people that are there, once they get out, don't come back. And being able to navigate the world just a little bit better, we hope, will make a difference in their lives. We're launching initiatives for veterans, and I'm a veteran of Iraq. And I lost a friend to suicide when we got back. Many of these people struggle. So we're providing them with educations, home ownership, and retirement planning. Financially empowered citizens give back to their neighborhoods. They give back to their schools. And finally, I want to talk to you about the most important issue that we're dealing with all over the globe, and you are an essential part of solving this problem. At the Treasury, we're dedicated to standing up for Kentucky's energy producers, the families they support, and the communities they strengthen. Our state's economy, especially when it comes to fossil fuel, is absolutely dependent on our coal regions, and we need the policies coming from Washington, supported by you at our state legislature level and at the fiscal court level, to stand up for the energy policies of this state. We have the most abundant coal reserves, we have the most abundant natural gas reserves, and we even have petroleum. We are drilling 2 million barrels a year in Kentucky. That's down. In 1983, it was 8 million barrels. So I cannot express to you in strong enough terms that when we lower the cost of gas at the pump and groceries at the checkout aisle, we are doing more good for our people than we'll ever be able to calculate. And you have in the Treasurer's office now a partner in this effort. I want to also stress to you that none of this happens by accident. You know that. We have to push back against the forces that would take away the means by which many of our people make a living and dignify themselves and their families with honest labor. And I want to be very specific about this. I worked for a coal congressman, Harold Rogers. I think many of you know him. Think of what Eastern Kentucky would be like without Hal Rogers. Think of what it would be like if we had no coal mining operations in Martin County and in Harlan County. We have the ability to support ourselves and be energy independent, and I need your help. The treasurer is able to tell the legislature what companies doing business with Kentucky are hostile to coal, hostile to fossil fuels, and we can bar them from doing business in the Commonwealth, and we will, and we have. Thank you. We have a list of businesses, 6 of them, who we refuse to do business with because they will not support what all of us in this room support, and that is plentiful energy for our people. And it's energy at which people can make a good living working in. Kentuckians deserve affordable energy, and our workers deserve policies that protect and promote their livelihood. With your help, judges, magistrates, and commissioners, we will keep these policies in place and move Kentucky forward. I've come to the end. Today I've outlined initiatives that not only advance the Treasury's mission, but they also support you in your efforts as county officials. At the Treasury, we will be your full partner. And I just want to give you just a brief glimpse of this. We're going into our 2nd year at the Treasury. What I'm hoping we will be able to give you through our office is immediate responses, just like we serve the public every day when they're asking to get their money back from our unclaimed property funds or getting the return checks restored to them. I urge each of you to reach out to my office and your needs. Our door is always open, and we are always listening. Thank you for your service, your leadership, and for the opportunity to work alongside each of you. We will build together a stronger Kentucky because of you. May God bless each of you, your counties, and our great Commonwealth. Thank you.